we've done the hardest parts of the image. Welcome to part 3. Congratulations on making it this far. Now we're up to the third quarter on the bottom left side of the image, which is made up primarily of hair and just a bit of a dress, like the dark colour. How easy is this going to be? And as always, I'm going to begin by laying down the darker areas. Okay. Just simple lines at a close distance, pulling back, halfway for paint. You can really get this in quick. It doesn't matter, it's not that important an area. However, here, the chin, that is quite an important area. You have to make sure your edge is perfectly correct. So, going to go in very close. We're going to point towards the darkest area. And I'm just going to do a line lightly, just build that up slowly. You can see there's a line there. I'll blend that out. Slowly raising my height. Got another edge here, a bit softer. Just creating that soft tone there, even though there's no line for it. There's no line there, however, I'm looking at the reference and I'm determining from the edge of this hair here, I can see that that effect starts here. So, and it lines up quite well with this line, so I'm just going to create that softly at the right height, the right focal value. Overlapping there. You can see this edge is quite sharp, so I'm going close, pulling back on the trigger quite a bit, create a sharp edge. The opposing edge is a bit softer, so I've raised my height, not pulling back as much for paint. Just fill in the spots in between. Because we're not using white, we're going to have to create the white of the hair by not putting any paint in there, so carefully creating a couple of edges. Got the edge of the dress here, it's sharp, dark. Got the trigger pulled back the whole way here, just colouring in really. Now I'll just get a bit looser with whatever's going on with the hair here, start to make up a few things. After you've copied the reference and you've looked at how the hair flows, you start to get an idea of where shadows should be, where highlights should be. And I'm not looking at the reference at all now. Just making up the hair from here. Can be a bit dangerous, but danger's my middle name. Just some soft tones here. Create the highlight of the hair by not putting any paint on it. Okay, so if you're happy with the tone of the hair, with the shading, you think that it's at the right value, it's looking correct, shadows are in the right place, then you can go ahead, start creating a bit of your texture. Remember just to follow the lines. Texture's going to start from the darkest areas, and it's not going to be so apparent in the lighter areas. If you're in doubt, copy your reference. Your reference is always going to be right. And you're creating hair. Three-quarters done. How simple was that? It was just a case of blocking in those darker areas, just using our airbrush, no need for stencils. Sometimes you might want to use your hand to be quick. We've just gone in, we've put in the darker shapes, we've made sure the edges are right, we've then added some tone, and then we coloured it in and added any texture that we needed. It's a very straightforward process. I talk about this and it's not that I think it's easy, it genuinely is easy. Just make sure that your control of the airbrush is good. You can paint anything that you want. It's just a case of getting those shapes in there, making sure your edges are right, add the tone, so colour it in to whatever darkness you need it, and then add a little bit of texture. It doesn't get any easier than that. Are you doing this already? Oh yeah, and I forgot an eyebrow too. I better get that in there. Make sure my height's right. Do a little transitional edge here. In the last part, all we're going to do is be doing this bottom right corner of the image. It's very straightforward again. We've got some hair texture. It's going to be built up in the same sort of way. We're going to make sure that our main shapes are in there, get the tonal values right, add some texture. We have one slightly difficult bit, and that's around the edge of the shoulder. You're just going to It's just one of those do or die lines. You just have to get in there and do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, your image is stuffed. So just make sure that you're confident with your control of the airbrush, everything's working right. You'll find that the faster you go, the more confident you become. So push yourself to do this image faster.